Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, today's first story comes from I'm So Confused Reddit and says, my 29 female girlfriend, 27 female, of 4 years just told me that she's pregnant. I'm a woman, so it can't be mine, but she swears she didn't cheat. What do I do? I'm still in shock, so bear with me. My life feels like a soap opera right now. Apologies, this will probably be long. Here's some background. My girlfriend Anna and I have been together for 4 years, with intentions of getting engaged sometime this year. To clarify, we are two women in a relationship. I'm lesbian, always have been, but Anna is bisexual and has had serious relationships with men in the past. This has never been an issue for us because we love each other and have a healthy and stable relationship. But now, as you can imagine, I'm second guessing everything. What went down? In the last month, Anna had been complaining about putting on weight, particularly in her stomach area. Anna is thin and athletic, so the little belly she developed is noticeable. She has been going to the gym more and started eating much healthier than she usually does. We didn't notice any improvements with her weight loss, but I told her that it takes time and that she will eventually lose the weight. Pregnancy never ever crossed my mind for obvious reasons. Last week she started freaking out about her weight gain, so she scheduled a doctor's appointment. She had the appointment yesterday afternoon and afterwards called me at work and told me that we needed to talk. I could tell she had been crying. I'm freaking out at this point now, thinking she is terminally ill or something. I started tearing up, asking her to tell me what's wrong, but she insists on meeting at home. I leave work immediately and get home to see her sitting on the couch, her face puffy from crying. I'm shaking and tears are streaming down my face. I ask her about the doctor's appointment and what's going on. She can barely get the words out through her sobs. She tells me that she went to the doctor and they told her that she is 13 weeks pregnant. I stop crying, but my brain is trying to comprehend what she just told me. All I could say was, what? Over and over. She is still sobbing, saying she is so confused and she has no idea how this happened. I've never really seen her in a state like that. She seems genuinely upset and confused, but then again, so am I. As I started registering what was going on, I asked, did you sleep with someone? And she only starts crying more, swearing on her life that she didn't sleep with anyone. So I'm like, but you did. You're pregnant. There is no way that you didn't cheat on me. To which she replies, I have no fucking clue how this happened, but I swear to God that I didn't sleep with anyone. You have to believe me. We go back and forth for 30 minutes or so, but both of us still confused. I told her that I needed to think. So I called a friend and spent the night at his house. I've been talking with friends and everyone is confused but agreeing that Anna must have cheated on me. I keep playing over our conversations in my head though. Like, if she knew that she slept with a guy and that she could be pregnant, why would she go to the doctor? Why wouldn't she have just gotten an abortion secretly? She could have used a Plan B pill just in case. She could have gotten away with this. Maybe I'm being foolish here, but it genuinely seemed like she had no idea why she was gaining the weight in her stomach. A couple of nights we talked at length about possibilities why she was gaining weight just in that region, and pregnancy never crossed our minds. I'm also playing back the potential date that she could have cheated on me, considering she is 13 weeks along. We live together and have similar work schedules. We both work 9 to 5 jobs, and if I'm thinking of the right week that this could have happened, there is nothing that stands out of the ordinary to me. There weren't any late nights or suspicious activity that would have concerned me. I feel like I'm driving myself crazy and I feel like I can't trust her. She's been texting me and asking if we can talk, and I told her that I need more time. I want to believe that she is telling me the truth, but I can't think of any reason how she could be pregnant without having slept with some guy. But it's all so confusing, given the situation. So Reddit, what are your thoughts? Does my girlfriend have a case of lesbian immaculate conception, or am I being a fool for doubting that she cheated on me? How do I handle this situation and how do I talk to her? Everything feels very confusing right now. Thanks in advance for reading. The top commenter on this one said, possibilities. She's the Virgin Mary. She had sex with a man 13 weeks ago, or the doctor is wrong. The commenter adds an edit and says, apparently OP should be looking for suspicious behavior 10 to 12 weeks ago, not 13 weeks ago. I've been informed that pregnancy weeks are counted from the date of the last period, not from conception. Another commenter says, I think you know the right answer here. You don't just magically get pregnant. Yeah, she could have hidden it and secretly got an abortion, but she in all likelihood didn't think anything of it until it was too late. Maybe they used a condom and it broke, or he pulled out or something and she was convinced it couldn't be a pregnancy, or just didn't want to believe it. Denial is extremely powerful. Some people will deny it till the day they die, but she's in a relationship with you, a woman, and she's pregnant. This isn't one you can deny. Logic says she may as well come clean, but good luck with that. 99.9% chance she cheated. The only other explanation is she was drugged and raped or something. That's a big leap into the let's find a way to rationalize the shit out of this zone. Good luck with this. My money is on she was unfaithful, as it's the obvious fucking answer. Commenter says, have you considered the possibility that she might have been drugged? Opie says no, only because I feel like I would have definitely known if she had been. We lived together, and while she had nights where she went out to dinner and get drinks with friends, she certainly never went out late or came home in bad shape. I feel like I would have immediately known if something had happened to her. We also spend a lot of time together and have nights in. She's more of a homebody than anything, in bed by 11 PM at the latest, even on weekend nights. Another commenter says, false positives results on pregnancy tests can occur in cases of malignant teratomas or tumors of the ovaries/testes. If she really sticks to get that story that she didn't cheat, ask her to return to the doctor to rule this out. A hormonal change for this kind of cancer may even have triggered the weight gain, although I'm just speculating on that front. But the production of HCG, what pregnancy tests test for, probably would lead to changes in the body. The hormone is real, but the pregnancy may not be. The possibility of drugged/raped also popped into my head, although it may not fit with the events that actually took place in your timeline of events. And of course, everyone in the comments is very much speculating. Most people obviously saying for the obvious option that, if she's cheated here. Other people talking about the drugs or potentially raped. And then there's more comments talking about the possibility of cancer as well, and that showing up in tests, which I thought was a really interesting one. But OP did come in to update the post and says, so a lot has happened since the original post. Thank you to everyone that responded with helpful comments. It seems like most people came to 3 possible conclusions with Anna's pregnancy. She cheated on me and got pregnant. She was the victim of a drugging scenario and doesn't remember anything, or the doctor is wrong. After spending the night at my friend's house and ignoring Anna's calls and texts, I decided to see her the next day to talk. We made a plan to meet at our house after work. I wasn't sure what to expect from our conversation. I thought I might need a confession of her cheating on me or something along those lines. So we met at home. She asked how I was doing and I told her that I was still pretty confused and upset. She understood, then I said, I have to know, did you sleep with someone? Or cheat on me? Or come near sperm in any way, shape or form since we've been together? She swore up and down that she did not. Very sincerely. She said, I know that this is fucking crazy and literally unbelievable, but I swear to God I didn't cheat on you. I'm just as confused as you are. I still wasn't entirely convinced, so I asked her about the doctor's visit specifically. She did not get an ultrasound. They only took a urine sample. I guess she told them her symptoms. They took a urine sample, concluded she was pregnant, and sent her on her way. I asked why they gave her a specific gestation period, and she didn't know. I'm not entirely sure why they did either. Of course, I was like, did you tell the doctor that it's impossible that you're pregnant, that you've been with a woman for the last 4 years? And the doctor gave her grief for it. Essentially implied that she must have slept with a man because she's pregnant, and that's why she was experiencing her symptoms. I'm not sure if this is a common occurrence for a doctor, but she said he seemed completely unfazed by her claims of not having slept with a man. For those of you that mentioned her period, Anna has an irregular period. Sometimes she gets it and sometimes she doesn't. So there was no cause for alarm when she didn't get her period for 3 months because A, she can't get pregnant, and B, more sex for us. I guess the doctor saw signs of positive pregnancy test and lack of period, and pregnancy was the most reasonable option. After hearing about that, I said she should schedule another doctor's appointment with a different doctor as soon as possible. She told me that she had, and had the appointment the next day, yesterday. We decided it was best that I go with her to the appointment. The first order of business with the new doctor was the ultrasound. I sat with Anna as they put gel on her stomach and was honestly sweating bullets. I kept thinking to myself, what if she is actually pregnant? I thought I was going to pass out, but Anna seemed calm. They confirmed that Anna is not pregnant, but she had a mass on her ovary that was a cause for concern. It was one of the most emotionally confusing moments of my life. Anna and I looked at each other, not sure if we should celebrate the not pregnancy or cry or what. Anna still has more appointments, but the doctor gave her the diagnosis of stage 1 ovarian cancer. This explains the positive pregnancy test and the bloated stomach. This also explains why she wasn't able to lose weight in her stomach. The doctor also mentioned that the irregular periods should have been a sign of concern for Anna, as women with irregular periods can be more at risk for ovarian cancer. I'm devastated and hopeful. Anna is still in shock, as she has been through a lot in the last couple of days. I'm supporting her the best I can, and we're figuring out a game plan. Naturally, we are both terrified of what's to come. This will be a huge part of her life and my life, and probably put our plans to get engaged, married, and have kids on hold, if she can even have kids after all this. Anna even joked about the fact that she wishes she actually had been pregnant with the Messiah. That way we could keep the kid and not have this horrible diagnosis. So I guess this is a happy/sad update. Thanks to everyone for reading. TLDR, girlfriend isn't pregnant, but has ovarian cancer. The Messiah hasn't returned. The top commenter on this one said, I'm so sorry to hear. The first doctor, who was so dismissive of her insistence that she hadn't slept with a man, should probably be scolded for this. Opie said, when she explained his reaction to me, I was livid. Called me an angry, man-hating lesbian, but the second doctor was a woman, and she was honestly one of the most helpful and supportive doctors I've ever encountered. And like Opie said, that is an incredibly sad/happy update at the same time. I'm glad they found out what it was and that she gets all the help that she needs for this. That doctor in this was crazily irresponsible. You'd hope if someone comes in and tells you, like, there's no way of this happening. There's no way of, you wouldn't want them to be making assumptions of you actually sleeping with a man, especially as you'd have thought that they'd know that, that's a possible sign because they're doctors. I know everyone in the post jumped on cheating because it's the most obvious thing. But as a medical professional, someone coming in and telling you that there's no way, I'm with a woman at the moment, it's just impossible, that they go, oh, well, let's investigate this a bit further then. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from My Kid's a Chatterbox, who says, am I the asshole for not shutting my kid up when she was asking questions about my friend's relationship? I, 35 female, and my husband, 36 male, have a 5-year-old daughter. Recently, she found our wedding album and has been absolutely obsessed with weddings and everything to do with them. She's been asking a bunch of questions. For example, why we got married. We've just been answering that we love each other a lot and thought it was right for us. Recently, a friend of ours invited us to their 6th year wedding anniversary. The friend who was hosting the party and I are part of a pretty large female friendship group that started in our law school days. All of us are either married with children, engaged, or in a relationship of some sort. Mandy, 35 female, is a part of this friend group and is in a relationship with Baz, 38 male. Mandy and Baz have been together for almost 8 years now. For the past 5, Mandy has been expressing to us that she really wants to get married, but Baz is very avoidant about it. To the point that when it's brought up, he just says, it's just a piece of paper, and I don't need the government's approval to love you. Despite us gently suggesting that he might be unserious about her, and that if they have different views on marriage, they shouldn't be together. She insists they're meant to be, and that he'll come to his senses. At the party, all of the couples and kids were invited, and my daughter was over the moon about all the wedding stuff. Mandy eventually strikes up a conversation with my daughter about school and such. My kid notices Baz and Mandy together and asks if they are married, why they are married, and when they will get married, in a very awkward, when will you wear wigs type manner. I'm not sure if I got that correct or not. I didn't quite understand that moment. I was nearby and overheard the conversation and immediately tried to change the subject. apologize as I knew this was a touchy subject for Mandy. I made her apologize to Mandy for being nosy, but then she kind of snaps back at my daughter as saying, well, we aren't married because I truly love him and I'm not a gold digger, lol. Some context, my husband is a very successful architect and his family comes from some wealth. My family is the opposite, with me being a first-generation law student. I'd opened up to Mandy in the past that I was worried to meet my husband's family in case they think I'm just with him for his money, and got nervous about what people thought once they knew I didn't originally come from wealth. I love my husband, have a great relationship with his family, and I'm very successful in my field as well. But I knew the comment was directed at me. She is the breadwinner in our relationship and has made snarky comments to me before about the size of my ring and how it looks too big and greedy, and will opt for a different style when her and Baz get married. She has even implied that my husband is unattractive and made a comment that I only got pregnant early into the marriage because I wanted to seal that generational wealth down with a baby when I announced my pregnancy. Each time I kinda laughed it off and moved on, except for the last comment, which I shut down hard and kinda scared her out of saying anything else until this party. Everyone else there too also overheard the conversation, and I knew the context of that comment, and the room just kinda went silent and awkward. It was the end of the party, so we kinda just left and said goodbye to the host. That was about 2 days ago. Today she sent me a message saying people were texting her that what she said wasn't cool and that she should apologize. She gave a very half-assed apology and said that she probably wouldn't have said anything if I had just shut my kid up earlier. To that I responded to not ever shit-talk my kid and that I wanted space from her, and said that this broke the camel's back as it was said to my daughter. I told the other friends about the text and thankfully they backed me up and told her she was being a bitch. I think they were riding her so hard because a lot of the friend group were also first-generation students with equally successful partners. She sent a follow-up apology that was slightly more sincere and asked me to get people off her back. My husband is equally as mad, but said to maybe cut her a little slack because she is in such a shit place in her relationship and is projecting out of fear. The comment really hurt my feelings, but I knew she was in a tough place with Baz and probably could have controlled my daughter a little earlier. So am I the arsehole? Update posted. I don't know how Reddit works, but it was too long, so I made a new post, which we'll cover in a moment. Someone said to OP, this is why kids perhaps do not belong at gatherings like this. OP says I do get it, and trust me, I'm not the type of parent that just brings a kid everywhere. But all of the couples that had kids were invited to bring their kids. I even asked the host when they were planning the party if they were sure they wanted kids there. And they said yes, because they wanted a laid-back family barbecue vibe. OP's thoughts on Baz. They said, I do think there is some truth to what you're saying, as I don't like Baz because I think he really isn't too nice to Mandy. I do agree marriage isn't the end-all and be-all, but for Mandy it 100% is, which is why I don't think her and Baz are a great match and I've told her so. I held on to the friendship with Mandy so long because we have such a long history together, but I do think it might be time to go our separate ways. We have explained to our kids about same-sex couples, divorce, etc. Before I should clarify that she is mostly obsessed with the wedding parts of marriage and hasn't really fully grasped what it actually means yet. OP responds to a comment regarding not using her daughter as the messenger regarding Mandy's relationship and says, although I do have my opinions about her relationship, I do not talk about any of that with or around my daughter because it's adults' business. I would never use my daughter as any sort of messenger, and all opinions I have on Mandy's relationship I have relayed to Mandy face to face when she requested it. OP saying she should have kept her opinions to herself when it comes to Mandy's relationship, or someone else's, since she pointed out critiques of the relationship. OP says, that is a fair opinion, but I will also clarify that I intervened as soon as I realized my daughter wasn't just asking one question on the subject. And as I said in the post, I tried to veer away from the conversation, and after that didn't work, I made her apologize for being nosy. Mandy was still my friend, and regardless of my opinion, it still was a sore spot for her. I would never want to intentionally make my friend upset to get a point across. OP then added an example of the conversation between her daughter and Mandy. OP says, let me clarify. I intervened by trying to essentially redirect my daughter to a different area of the party to not make things too awkward. But in typical curious kid fashion, they were rapid fast. It kinda went like this. Daughter said, "Are you married?" Mandy laughed and went, "No." Opie walks over and says, daughter's name, "Come try the party food with me." Daughter virtually ignores her and says, "Why aren't you guys married?" Opie then calls daughter's name and says, "Come on, let's go," and tries to pull her away. And Mandy chuckles awkwardly. Opie continues saying, "I then interrupted my daughter before she could fully get the third question out, but context clues made it obvious that she was about to ask if they were going to get married soon. After I cut her off, I made her apologize for being too nosy. My thinking was that if I focus on redirecting her train of thought instead of scolding her in front of everyone, it would make things slightly less awkward. I do admit I could have put in more effort cutting the questions off immediately." I don't know, some of the comments in that one were absolutely wild. Like the first commenter on this one that said, "Don't bring your kid to gatherings like this." I was like, what? What are you on about? To me, this just felt like, kids doing kid things, asking awkward questions. Happens all the time. I mean, and that was as simple as it was for me, but there was an update on this one. And it said, I originally wasn't going to update on the situation because I was honestly just going to ghost Mandy for a while and just forget about the whole thing. But I read some of the comments and decided to talk to my daughter. My husband and I sat her down and talked to her about how there are many different types of relationships because there are many different types of people. We told her some people want to get married, some people don't, and that's okay, and how getting married isn't just about a wedding, it's a big commitment to another person. We also said that people can have a long and happy relationship without getting married, and that it isn't something to look down on people on. We also said that it's ultimately her choice to decide if she ever wants to get married in the future, and we would support her no matter what. We then explained that being curious and asking questions is a good thing, but marriage and weddings can be very personal for a lot of people, and if they don't want to talk about it, to respect that. She seemed to understand and still loves weddings and looks at my husband and I's wedding album often, but thankfully chilled out a little. I was still a bit confused on what to do about Mandy, as I had some mixed opinions in the comments. I did get a few that stuck with me asking why we were friends if she doesn't like me. I didn't want to confront the issue again, but in the past few days I found out I'm pregnant with a second kid. After the initial joy with my husband surpassed a little, I got sad thinking about this drama and thinking about how I only wanted people around me who wholeheartedly supported me. I ended up sending a message to Mandy asking to meet up for a coffee. When I met her, I told her that we had been friends for a long time, but her past comments about me hurt. I apologized for my daughter at the party, but that didn't make her comment okay. I also apologized if I ever come across to her as being judgmental or unapproving of her relationship with Baz, and that I only wanted her to be happy, and if she is, I completely support her. I then told her about the pregnancy, and said that if she didn't like me, that was her prerogative, but I only wanted people around me that support me in this period of my life. She took it in and actually apologized for her comments and admitted that they were mean-spirited. She felt that because of her family, she's always had pressure to live up to traditional family life, even though she didn't want to and was happy with the way things were with Baz. Was happy we reached some sort of understanding, but things took a turn for the worst. She confessed that she purposely started saying mean comments to prevent me from falling into the stay-at-home mum trap. I was confused and she clarified that the two women in the group have done the same after having children, and she predicted that I would go down the same route, so to protect me. After I got engaged, she started indirectly shaming me in hopes I wouldn't quit my job to take care of my kids. I've never once said I want to be a stay-at-home mother, by the way. I told her that she was fucking crazy, and I never once said that I wanted to stop working because I love my job. She said that was a good thing, but she thought I was because of how often I talk about my daughter and how in her eyes I crave validation of my husband too much. I said she was being mean and that I've treasured her friendship for a long time, but I need to think about it if it's worth saving. I'm now in my car typing this, head spinning. I don't want to be a friend anymore, but I'm scared that other people might shame me into it because of the baby coming. What do I do? So of course the top commenter on this one says, it sounds like this meetup with Mandy was a sincere attempt on your part, but everything she said, the pressure from her parents and the supposed plan to save you from a trap, was all just her looking for ways to deflect the responsibility for what she did. It shows that her so-called apology is not sincere at all. It is completely reasonable that you don't want to be a friend anymore because it is clear that she is not your friend and hasn't been in a long time. Another commenter says, go low contact. When asked by other people, just reply with answers like, we have some disagreements or too busy. Depends on who's asking. As a mum of two and never once wanting to be a stay-at-home mum, what Mandy said only confirmed that 1, she is rude, 2, she is full of biases, and 3, she does not know you at all. This is no friend of yours. It's time to drop some dead weight. You'll find life so much better after that. Commenter says, please reread what you wrote while imagining your daughter going through the same experience with a friend. Would you tell her to forgive the same manipulation, aggression, and cruelty? Would you worry about this clearly damaged person being around your granddaughter and soon-to-be grandchild? Protect yourself like you would protect your children. And it just feels like one of those stories where the friendship is coming to a conclusion pretty much. She's clearly projecting a lot of her own insecurities onto her friendships around her, yours included, which in some ways is really sad when you think about it from that person's perspective. But at the same time, you have your life to live and you got to deal with your own stuff. It'd be one of those ones where I think I'd just be taking a few steps back and just letting it naturally fade away. But still hoping for her that one day she deals with her own insecurities, because I kind of just find that sad in itself. But what do you guys make of this one? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time, it always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.